All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more Kaiju number 8, Volume 2 today. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Yushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another live reading of Kaiju number 8. Last we left out on, we pretty much started the series with Volume 1 last Monday, where we got introduced to Kafka, and I'm noticing that the brightness is very bright. Hold on, change some lighting around. It is very bright. Goodness, it's very bright. Hold on. It wasn't like this before, but then again, I did open up my blinds. Here we go. And then we just do. And then just bump this up just a little bit. Okay. Comfortable. We are now comfortable. But we got introduced to Kafka and the world of kaiju and kaiju cleaning, and how he has dreamed of being part of the Japan Defense Force. And some things happen. He winds up, I guess, becoming a kaiju because of this one creature that flew into his mouth after his leg got crushed when facing off against a Honju. And now he's taken the courses and taken the tests in order for him to be, inducted into the Defense Force. And we get introduced to Kikoru, and I really hope I'm saying her name right. Hold on. Kikoru. Yeah, Kikoru Shinomiya. Kikoru. I need to make sure I said that right, because I can't remember if I said her name as Kikuro in the last session we had, but Kikoru, who is seen as basically this perfect example of what they need in the Japanese Defense Force. She faces off against a Honju and basically breezes through the test, and she takes down the big, massive Honju during this test, but then all of a sudden another kaiju appears, and it seems to revive the rest of them, and Kikoru is put into a life-or-death situation where she almost dies until Kafka, who at this point was hiding his kaiju powers from everyone because basically Japan was hunting him down or trying to find out what type of kaiju he was. He winds up showing off his powers in order to save Kikoru's life. So now we start with Volume 2, and that involves chapters 8 all the way to 17.1. Now, it is not often where I read through volumes of a manga and it has this many chapters. At the very most, it tends to be up to maybe 7 or maybe 8 or maybe even 9. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's like 8.1, 11.1, 14.1, 17.1. But chapter 17.1 will be the last one. So let's get started with chapter number 8. And we begin with Kafka standing in front of Kikoru after he saved her when this Honju tried to blast her in the face and, basically kill her. And he's just standing there in front of her. And then we get the other students who immediately start opening fire. Oh no, wait, this is back. This is back then. This is back then when they all of the Yoju started to come back up again, and we got all of the other aspiring attendants of this takers of this test, and they go like, "Come on, get the freaking lead out, you lugs! Make a break for the shelters on the double!" So the three big people that were said to be a shoo-in to be inducted into the Japanese Defense Force. They're opening fire in order to protect everyone else so they can get to the shelters. But then Kafka's going, "All right, the Defense Force should be here any minute. We better evac..." And then we get some other people who run up to Kafka and Ichikawa. The thing is, Ichikawa is such a Shin type person that I immediately defaulted to him. I've been reading way too much Sakamoto Days. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But some people run up to Ichikawa going, "Are you all right? Are there any monsters in that area?" "Right. Well, technically we're the last ones out, but Kikoru Shinomiya's back there holding off the Honju on her own. She's all busted up." And this catches Kafka's attention because this whole time Kikoru has been looking down on Kafka, saying that he's worthless and wants to humiliate him over and over again, which she's been doing. But, you know, and mind you, he's been getting bothered by it. But the moment he hears that she's in trouble, he's all like, "What? Kikoru Shinomiya's back there holding off the Hanju on her own. She's all busted up." "Shinomiya's there? Sir, what should we..." And when Ichikawa looks over to Kafka, Kafka's gone. Wait, he's already gone? There's no way he'd transform right now, right? Right? And this is Ichikawa thinking this. If he turned into a kaiju now, he'd just wind up getting No. He'd do it. In a situation like this, he'd do it without a second thought. And then we cut back to when Kikoru was saved, as Kafka is standing in front of her, having basically used his whole body to basically tank the blast. The thing that scares me about how cool Kafka is with this is the fact that he tanked the blast and it didn't even move him. He just stood there and took it, and it just hit everywhere except where he was standing and the short area behind him, which also wound up protecting Kikoru as well.
What's the big idea? You were a kaiju the entire time? Don't tell me you and the other one are in league with each other, or...
Kikoru. Please, pretty please, I beg of you, keep this a secret from the defense force! And she's screaming because, you know, Kafka still behaves like Kafka even in this state. But then that big Honju, the one that she basically blew up with a grenade in the last volume, he starts charging up another blast.
It's firing a second shot? This is bad!
And then Kafka immediately notices, and when it fires, Kafka immediately bounces off the shot out of nowhere, and it explodes just behind him. Ooh! See, I got a little bro. Not by blood, but his family is so close to me that I consider him my little brother. He told me that I was really going to enjoy Kaiju number 8. You guys told me I was really going to enjoy Kaiju number 8. I already like this. It tries to shoot him, and he just backhands the shot. And it explodes right behind Kikoru, enough to cause, you know, the whole area to just whoosh with shockwave wind. I'll fill you in later. Just need a sec to take this thing down. So kick back and relax. And then Kafka immediately starts charging up with power in his fists all over his body, and Kikoru is shocked because she realizes that Kafka has a lot more power than he let on. Then we get to Proctor with the big old glasses as she goes,
I'm detecting an abnormally high energy emission near the Hanju's new location. Hanju's location. Is this a new kaiju?
And then Mina, along with Hoshina, they immediately start moving in. What'd you say? Do you have a visual?
A combination of dust clouds and network disturbances are preventing visual confirmation. Hold on. What is this reading? Fortitude 9.8?
Are you nuts? That last jolt must have thrown the calculation device out of whack.
Yes, that must be it.
'Cause if it isn't an error, then whatever this is would go down in the history books as one of the greatest kaiju to ever exist. A Dai Kaiju. A Dai Kaiju? So now we have Yoju, Honju, and we have Dai Kaiju. So much for me thinking that Honju were actually the pinnacle of kaiju monsters. Now we have a new classification. For those of you who already read through this is new to me. Would go down in the history books as one of the greatest kaiju to ever exist. A Dai Kaiju. And then when the Honju immediately starts bearing down on Kafka, Kafka's, like, the plating around his legs start to shapeshift, and they dig into the ground. They start to shapeshift and become like What do you call it? What do you call it? Because you see it on fire trucks in order to hold the fire truck steady so that it doesn't teeter, just in case they use a ladder in order to get up to a building. I think it's called. Well, he basically gets kickstands through his legs, and they jab directly into the ground. Sorry, time's a ticking, so I'm cleaning you up in one shot. And Kafka is digging into the ground so hard with his 1 foot that it craters underneath him just from him stomping down on it, and then his elbow opens up like a mouth. And then Kafka's still charged with energy, and then it cuts to his mouth elbow, and power starts building up in it, and his fists meets with the fist of the Honju, and the shockwave is so forceful, it almost knocks Kikoru back. It makes her close her eyes, and her hair's flying back, and all of a sudden, the skin, muscle tissue, everything on this Honju's arm just literally explodes, and all it has left is just the bones. This thing had a very thick arm, and Kafka just punched the meat off his bones. And then it proceeds to go through the rest of the body, and then the bones start breaking, and then the whole body of the Honju just completely disintegrates. No. And this completely and utterly shocks Kikoru. She's just standing there, eyes wide, mouth agape, and the parts of this Honju just fall to the ground. Let's see you try and come back after that, pal. And then the body starts to move around, like the body parts start to move around. Ah! I was just kidding! I swear, please don't come back! But then the body parts stop moving and they just fall to the ground. I think they were at their limit. They can't regenerate past that point. Don't freak me out like that. And then Kikoru still sitting in the same exact spot she was. Because remember, she got shot all over her limbs, so she really couldn't run away if she wanted to. But she's still sitting here in this same exact spot. Kafka, not even leaving that same spot, is still standing in front of her. Even after all of that, he did not even move from where he was standing, and he killed this Honju in an instant. Love this series. I love it already.
What is this guy? Even if my body was perfect, I'd never be able to beat him.
And then Kafka just looks at her. And then he immediately starts grabbing towards Kikoru, and she closes her eyes because she thinks he's about to attack him, but he grabs her and punches the upper body of a Yoju's just straight off because it just appeared behind her. He just punched this Yoju's entire upper torso off. Just this whole section. I love Kafka. I love him too, Halster. I love him too. This whole section from arms all the way up is just completely obliterated.
A Yoju?
You seem to be all right from the look of things. Glad you're safe. And Kafka's face goes back to being normal. And then Kikoru is just looking at him, but she's not saying anything, but you see her eyes kind of, I wouldn't say glistening, but you see a shine to them. But one piece of advice. You need to make your own safety more of a priority. And then Ichikawa comes in and chops Kafka right on the back of the head. I could say the same to you! Ichikawa, what are you doing here? You rushed off on your own without a word to me, and just like I figured, you made a spectacle of yourself and transformed. Well, I thought maybe I could get by with just transforming individual body parts, but once I saw what I was up against, I realized that wasn't going to fly. Whatever, just be more careful about. And then Kikoru starts teetering and she falls to the ground, unconscious. You know, the adrenaline the adrenaline finally wearing off. Shinobia!
Operation room. Ashido,
not Mina Ashido. Oh, I did say his name right.
Ashiro and Hoshina here.
Oh, wait.
Operation room. Ashino and Hoshina here. We're at the scene.
And it's, Mina and Hoshina at the remains of basically the kaiju that Kafka just destroyed. And that's the end of Chapter 8. Onwards to 8.1. Let's see. Kaiju number 8, Illustration Collection Kaiju Showcase. Kaiju number 8 will be taking a break this week. We're fresh out of chapters. Moving forward, we hope to take a break every 3 chapters. So on that note, here is a special illustration along with all the chapter promo art posted on Twitter for your viewing pleasure. And this is Ichikawa. And Kafka, along with the author, who apparently is a gigantic cat with, Frankenstein's monster's bolt in its neck. So, Kaiju number 8, and we're getting, all this color. Well, it's really just, colors of certain parts of the certain manga volumes getting color in it, and it was just illustrations. It was just illustrations. I thought it was going to be illustrations of kaiju and whatnot. But onwards to Chapter 9. And Hoshina and Ashido are there, looking at the remains of the Honju that Kafka just blasted. The heck went down here? What kind of fight ends with a mess like this? Captain Ashido, Vice Captain Hoshina, no signs of any examinees.
This is the operation room.
Go ahead. And Mina's there as well.
It appears that 3 examinees have taken refuge in Shelter 6. Reports say that Kikoro Shinomiya is among them.
And it has a camera in front of Ichikawa, Kikoru, and Kafka as well. Ah, she's safe then. With that, all examinees are safely accounted for.
Wait, with that, all examinees are safely accounted for.
Roger that. Make sure they get treatment. Captain, what do you make of all this? As strong as Kikoru Shinomiya may be, I doubt this destruction is her doing.
There's a lot of mysteries to unpack, starting with how these kaiju revive themselves. We'll need to investigate.
Sorry, I was looking at the camera trying to be all extra dramatic.
There's a lot of mysteries to unpack, starting with how these kaiju revive themselves. We'll need to investigate. Get an investigations unit and a disposal unit on this. Hoshina and I will exterminate any remaining Yoju.
Yes, ma'am!
It's nearly identical. 3 months ago, on the day that Kaiju number 8 appeared, we found a Kaiju corpse neutralized by an unknown entity that was just as mangled as this one. I bet they're linked somehow.
Hoshina is putting 2 and 2 together, but it's, hasn't figured it out that it's Kafka yet. And then we get back to the infirmary. Great news, isn't it, sir? And then we get Kafka, who's kind of bandaged up. Your injuries weren't as bad as we thought. Back in the hospital. Shinomiya seems to be in stable condition. I heard they're treating her with the best signs the defense force has to offer. And what about me? I want some of that! Well, you only have some minor fractures, sir. And then Kafka just lays back in his bed. It all happened so fast. Going up against all that tough competition served as a reminder. Chasing after your dreams means getting beat by that one big thing you just can't give up every second of every minute. Sir. But you know what? The chase can always get you so fired up that you stop caring about any of that. That was just the reminder I needed. Okay, his resolve is back. And it's all because you gave me that initial push. Not initial push. I meant to say push. What in the world? What is going on with my words today? And it's all because you gave me that initial push. Thanks, Ichikawa. And Mina is hanging outside saying this to Ichikawa. And then she walks in. Wait, you're Captain Ashido to Mina. Captain, what are you doing here?
I was informed the 2 of you transported the severely injured Shinomiya to safety. Your rescue efforts are greatly appreciated.
And she salutes the both of them.
That's all. Good day.
And before he can say anything, he stops himself. Kafka stops himself. No, not now. I'll speak to her after I become an officer. Just you wait, Mina. Kokubunji City, Tokyo. There was trouble at the Defense Force testing site. Reports state that dead kaiju suddenly started springing back to life. However, despite a few injured parties, there have been 0 fatalities as a result. Ah? 0? And the same kaiju that revived the Honju is inside of a public bathroom, sitting in a stall, listening to the radio on a phone. On a phone, it's just sitting up on the toilet with its legs up, listening to this. 0? 0? Wait. How were there 0 fatalities? Is this captain of theirs really that strong? And then its phone starts ringing. Let's see here. Pretty sure you answer a phone like this. And then he swipes. Hello? Where'd you get off to? Break time's over, you know. Oh. Oops. Don't you oops me! Come on, we gotta at least tear down what's on the tracks before the first train comes in. Yes, sir. Be right there. And this Honju's neck starts bubbling. This kaiju starts transforming into a person, but we don't see their face yet. Right. I'm getting myself together this instant. Good grief. Humans are so fussy over time. Yeah, sorry about all that. Kinda got a case of the runs. Jeez, you had us all worried. Make sure you say something before holding up in a jar, newbie. And, oh. The same kaiju that resurrected the Honju is also a part of the kaiju cleaning crew. And while they're walking away, its head is normal at first. And then it starts wobbling uncontrollably as it's bubbling in the neck. Hey, by the way, I heard there was some accidents at the testing site. For real? I hope Kafka and Ichikawa are all right. Oops, can't go losing my head now. And it's just shaking violently. How does no one see this? And that's the end of chapter 9. Okay, onwards to chapter 10. My goodness, yeah, I already feel bad about that. Last time on Kaiju number 8, despite an unforeseen incident. Oh, wait, is this Ichikawa doing the narration? Last time on Kaiju number 8. Despite an unforeseen incident, my workplace senior Kafka got through the final leg of the exam. And it's all because you gave me that initial push. Thanks, Ichikawa. After watching him beat the odds, I could tell he'd grown more determined and confident as a result. This is so hopeless! I'm scared, really scared! I'm absolutely terrified! Then again, maybe not. This is all your fault! If you hadn't given me that initial push, I wouldn't be freaking out right now! You were literally thanking me back at the hospital, sir. What happened to the guy who had the big epiphany? The day of the exam results. Hey, Kafka, Ichikawa. These came in for you two. And this is the head dude of the cleaning corps. The cleaning company that they're a part of. And they get their envelopes. All right. We open on the count of 3. And they're both looking and thinking. Take it or leave it. This is my last chance. Whether my path leads to her side or not, All rights on this. 1, 2. And then Kafka's looking at his letter. And then we cut to a different location. And we have Kikoru here.
We will now present the induction certificates. Passing with the highest marks, Kikoru Shinomiya shall represent the latest cohort of inductees.
Yes, Captain!
As of today, all 27 of you are hereby members of the Defense Force. On behalf of all 27 of us...
Oh wait, this is Kikoru.
On behalf of all 27 of us, I solemnly swear to lay my life down and fight. You performed a great service in that post-exam incident. As a result of your efforts, there were no fatalities. I extend my thanks once more.
Mind you, Kikoru knows that she didn't kill that Honju. She did initially, but the one who put down that Honju for good was Kafka.
I didn't kill that thing, though. Kafka Hibino. This thanks is meant for you, not me. So tell me, why aren't you here?
Because it shows that there's Ichikawa, but Kafka's not standing next to him.
Not only did you save my life, you had the audacity to worry about me too.
Glad you're safe.
This is an insult, and I still need answers from you about that kaiju form. If you think I'll let you slip away, you better think again.
And then we get Kafka, who runs in with full uniform going, "Pardon me for hopping in." And then we get Kikoru, whose face lights up seeing Kafka. And then Mina looks at him, and then Ichikawa is smiling, and then we get
Number 2032, Kafka Hibino. Failed. Coming in dead last.
Oh wait, this is a flashback.
Coming in dead last in the physical exams and is 0 in suit aptitude make for an open and shut case. I assume.
Oh wait, this is coming from one of the other people. This isn't Mina who's saying this. Coming in number 2032, Kafka Hibino. Failed. Coming in dead last in the physical exam and is 0 in suit aptitude make for an open and shut case. I assume there are no objections, Captain. And Mina's silent.
None that I...
And then Hoshina just pops in.
Right, then allow me. It's true that his grades are subpar and he failed to meet the bar as an officer, but he really shined during the field combat exam. And best of all, he made for some excellent comic relief.
I knew you'd say that!
Because the lady is there. The lady with the big glasses who was telling Hoshina to take his job seriously, she's there as well listening to this.
I knew you'd say that!
Not sure if we'll ever promote him to a general officer, but I'll retrain him as a cadet in my platoon.
And that's the reason why Kafka is there. For all intents and purposes, he failed. But Hoshina wants to keep him. Because he's funny.
This man's being enrolled as a cadet, so I had him sit out this officer induction ceremony.
That's more like it, Kafka Hibino.
So, he made it after all, albeit as a cadet.
You mean that old dude made it?
Talk about an upset. And then Mina's looking at him, and Kafka's looking at her.
Now that we have everyone assembled, Captain Ashido...
Oh, wait. Now that we have everyone assembled, Captain Ashido has a few words. And then she speaks.
All right, everyone. Listen up. Kaiju emergence numbers and fortitude levels continue to climb well above average. Not to mention, there was an abnormal case where Kaiju came back from the dead. Neutralizing Kaiju is fraught with mortal peril, but we must persist. Some of you may not make it back from your first mission alive. In fact, none of our lives are guaranteed. Nonetheless, I ask that you lend me your lives. And I swear that I will be at the forefront, acting as your shield and your spear against our threats.
And then we have Kafka as he grips his fist and goes, Mina, you'll see soon enough I'm coming to stand by your side. And Mina just looks at him, and every single person in the room immediately just goes, huh? Huh? Even Kikoru is going, what? And everyone else is looking at him with beads of sweat because they can't believe that a mere cadet would speak to the captain like this. But none of them know the relationship between Kafka and Mina. What's with this guy? Has he lost it?
He just addressed Captain Ashido by her first name! Cadet Kafka Hibino. 100 push-ups for your unauthorized outburst and addressing a superior without a title.
I didn't mean to say that out loud!
That is all.
And then Mina just turns around and leaves. And then Hoshina, seeing the comic relief that Kafka is, just goes, boy, you nailed it right off the bat. Captain Ashido, aren't you going a little easy on him? And while Mina passes him, he manages to catch Mina kind of cracking a smile a little bit. He notices that she's smiling. I love how they illustrate that there's a white flash, a white highlighted area around her face to accentuate that she's actually smiling because she knows that Kafka would do this sort of thing.
Huh? Did she just crack a smile?
Well, Vice Captain, your little comedy act is already doing wonders.
Oh yeah, sure is, ain't he? Just like I figured he would. This job can get pretty dang grim, you know. I think he's just the guy we need round here. That's the idea. The part I'll say out loud, at least.
And then we cut back to Kafka, who's doing all these push-ups.
We got an F9.8 reading out of nowhere when those kaiju were regenerating. 9 out of 10 chances it was a malfunction, but oddly we happened to lose track of one person's vitals round the same time. That person being you, Kafka Hibino. His abnormally low suit aptitude aside, something feels off about this guy. So I'm gonna keep him close and find out exactly why that is.
He's keeping Kafka close not as comic relief, but because he knows there's something going on with him. See, these are the people you gotta watch out for that are so inquisitive here. We got a massive reading the same time your vitals went offline and we couldn't read them anymore. And we don't know why. So I want you on my team so I can watch you, because I'm the only person who has managed to come up with this hypothesis. And that's where chapter 10 ends. Onwards to chapter 11! And we begin with chapter 11, and Ichikawa appears to be shooting. 2 months since induction. Arms in close. Relax the wrists. Place the reticle on your mark and don't pull the trigger. Squeeze it. And he fires, and he's hitting target after target. Squeeze! Squeeze! Reno, is it Reno? I think it's Reno. Yeah, I think it's Reno. No, Reno. Reno Ichikawa. Live fire exercise complete. Time, 2 minutes. I think this is like a computer. Reno Ichikawa. Live fire exercise complete. Time, 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Estimated unleashed combat power, 18%. We spent every day undergoing rigorous training. Oh ho, he's grown this much in such a short time. That's pretty impressive. And Hoshina is watching them all. Freaking Reno, another growth spurt? Iharu Furuhashi, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Estimated unleashed combat power, 20%. There, I win. Don't get cocky, punk. Rest assured, I'm not. Kikoru Shinomiya, 1 minute, 16 seconds. Estimated unleashed combat power, 55%. Shocking everybody. And she just flips her hair because, she a bad somebody.
Oh, play nice now. Both of your scores combined are well under mine anyway.
Getting under the skin of Ichikawa and Iharu. Man, oh man, the more I improve, the more she reminds me how mediocre I am. The ones on top aren't... Oh, then we get the other guy. The ones on top aren't all you have to worry about.
Haruichi, my combat power is on par with yours.
Trouble from up top and down below. Jeez, I swear. Don't worry, I'll be sure to surpass you when my turn comes, Aoi. And both Aoi and Haruichi just glare at each other. And everyone is just glaring at each other because they see each other as rivals. Oh!
Kafka Hibino, 6 minutes, 39 seconds. Estimated unleashed combat power, 1%.
Oh, heck yeah! Oh, heck yeah! And he's smiling and he's looking at Kafka and he's looking at Kikuru going, with just a pistol in his hand. With a pistol in his hand, he's just looking at her like he achieved something. You see that, Kikuru? I finally turned my 0 into a 1! Oh yeah! How's that for you? Come on, give me props.
Why are you acting all smug? Your measly 1% barely compares to my 55. Get away from me!
Oh, Kafka.
Yes, sir?
At this pace, you'll never become a regular officer. In 3 months, you'll be out the door.
And then everyone is just looking at Kafka and his antics.
Jeez, Gramps. Alrighty, 10 laps around the perimeter and we'll call it a day.
And everyone's groaning.
Oh, back talk?
Make it 15. Now hop to it. Sir, yes, sir! And then we get the lady that's always with Hoshina. She goes,
These new recruits sure are making the sparks fly, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Seems like even when I'm not around, they're competing and boosting each other.
And then it cuts to the dudes as they're, washing down.
I'm friggin' beat. Man, the vice captain knows ending training with laps is brutal. Your muscles still have a ways to go, eh, Reno? Huh? But they're pretty much the same as yours, Iharu. We're dead even on the fitness test, too. Excuse me? Try telling that to my biceps. Biceps? They look like mounds of nothing to me. Well, never thought Reno'd be such a sore loser. You said it. Good grief.
Quit bickering over something so stupid, the both of you! Now check out this working adult's muscles. That ought to be enough to end this debate. And then they see Kafka's muscles, and his muscles are just absolutely massive in comparison to Iharu's. In comparison to Iharu's.
Whoa, the old dude's freaking shred. Close but no cigar. You can't be on the defense force if you can't protect your waistline.
And it shows that while Kafka has really big, massive muscles, his waistline is not there. His waistline shows no abs whatsoever.
Close, but no cigar. You can't be in the defense force if you can't protect your waistline. You're being rude, Iharu. Ugh, lousy punks. You better hope karma doesn't bite you in the butt when you hit 28. And I'll have you know I dropped a ton of weight.
Forget my stomach. Let's settle this with an arm wrestling match.
Oh, you're on, Gramps.
Yes, fine by me. And then Aoi walks in, and he's just completely and totally shredded. All over. Arms, chest, abs. He's the only one who's, like, definitively more defined than everyone else. And he a brother, too. It's this dark-skinned brother who's got all the toned muscles. He ain't got no vacuum belly either. I learned that from Arnold. Vacuum belly is from people who try to suck it in to show that while they have big muscles, they try to suck in their stomach because, they've been taking something that causes their belly to become bloated at the expense of their muscles. He's the only one walking in here with, like, toned abs and muscles. And he just goes, "What's with all the noise in here tonight?" And everyone just looks at him with beads of sweat, and they're just like, they just shut up.
Huh? What's the matter? Don't mind us scrawny boys. We're clearly got a long way to go. That's a former JGSDF officer for you.
And Kafka's in the water as well. Like they have like that water. You know how you see it in anime when girls see another girl that is more blessed than them, and they're just hiding in the water.
It's been a while since I've done anything like this.
And then Iharu is just going,
By the way, why'd you all want to join the Defense Force? For me, it's gotta be because of Captain Ashido. She's been my idol ever since she saved me back when I was in middle school. How about you two?
and then the other guy speaks up, I joined for family reasons, but I guess we're on the same page overall. Captain Ashido is my goal.
Likewise. Wow, Mina's got some major clout, huh? Of course, she's our generation's superhero after all. Well, old-timer, let's hear it.
Well, I'm...
You're what? You're Captain Ashido's childhood friend?
Yeah.
And you both vowed to join the Force? The classic promise from the past stick?
Well, it's about time I hop out.
And as soon as Kafka tried to leave, he gets grabbed by everyone going,
Hold it. You're not leaving till you give us all the details.
Well, Mina was born on a sunny day, which is good luck.
Oh,
She loves dried cuttlefish ever since she was little.
really?
And when she was in grade school, she used to take care of animals. Tell us more. And they basically just spend the night listening to Kafka describe... And he's just describing Mina. Just describing Mina to them. And then we have Kikoru as she walks in. Well, she walks out of the bath with another trainee with her going,
Ah, what a splendid bath.
and all the dudes have apparently passed out except for Ichikawa because he was the more sensible one of the group because they stayed in the bath too long apparently.
Did I stumble upon a crime scene? Apparently, they chatted in the bath too long and got lightheaded. They said it was about Captain Ashido.
And the one person she takes the towel off of is Kafka.
I swear, boys are such morons.
And then it cuts to everybody who's sleeping. But the only person who's not sleeping is Kafka. He's up studying.
In 3 months, you'll be out the door.
And those words are echoing in his head from Hoshina.
I'm running out of time. I'm gonna have to work twice as hard as everyone else. Working hard, I see.
Vice Captain Hoshina!
But sleep is part of the job too, you know.
And he just scratches his head.
I just can't afford to get cut from the force, sir. Because of Captain Ashido, eh?
How did you know that?
You said it yourself in the bathhouse. Just so you know, any conversation held in these dorms is fair game for all.
That's just plain creepy!
I made a promise. I said I'd fight by her side. Oh, I see. Then I take it you're aiming to steal my spot as vice captain?
No, sir. I didn't intend to.
No.
No. Actually, I do intend to do just that, sir. And that actually causes a vein to pop up on Hoshina's face. And he slams his fist on the table.
Fine. You're on then. You've got 2 hours. That's it. Turn off the lights and lock up when you're done. I'm not forking over my place by Captain Ashido's side.
And mind you, he gave the keys to Kafka, but he's made it very clear that he is not giving up his spot to anybody. Thank you, sir!
Oh, and also, a word to the wise. You shouldn't get too buddy-buddy with your fellow officers. In this line of work, anything could happen at any given time.
And then there's a ring going off in the entire base.
Kaiju emergence! Kaiju emergence! All personnel prepared to deploy immediately.
Ichikawa, Aoi, and Minaguchi, I'm pretty sure his name isn't Minaguchi, and the other guy are all awake, but Furuhashi is the only one who isn't awake yet.
Well, speak of the devil. Let's get moving. Time for your first mission, cadet.
And that's the end of Chapter 11. Onwards to Chapter 11.1. Is this another illustration? Yeah, it's 11.1 is just an illustration page. Okay, moving on to Chapter 12. Look at this little rivalry forming. Kafka would form a rivalry with the vice captain of all people, wouldn't he? Yeah, he would. Kaiju number 8, Chapter 12. Target's estimated size is 150 meters. Giant class. I'm so upset that we're getting the Kaiju number 8 mobile game of all things. I'm not going to go on a rant. It appeared in Sagamihara and is now slowly heading north. The Defense Force is currently proceeding with citizen evac and material transport, and everyone's loading up all their guns and making sure it's all good.
You all ready? It's kaiju slaying time.
And we have Kafka and basically everyone that was with, basically that has a name except for 2 people who are in the back. We got Kafka, Ichikawa, Kikoru, Furuhashi, Aoi, and the other guy whose name just keeps escaping me all the time, along with Hoshina and 2 other people. And Kafka and Kikoru, I can't say they're looking at each other, but it cuts back to when Kikoru was speaking to them. Because remember, Kikoru was there when Kafka went kaiju, so she's the only person in this group that knows. So they're at a diner and they're eating. Muso, anyone? Please. I would do anything for a Kaiju number 8 game where we get to just take down hordes of kaiju. Turn it into a Muso. That's all I'm gonna say. Because if I go down this path of talking about what manga should be turned into a Muso game, we'll be here all day. You are here for volumes. But she's at a diner with him going,
Huh? You ate a kaiju and became one? Unbelievable. Poor people will eat anything.
I didn't eat it because I wanted to.
Can you 2 keep it down? Actually, I've been thinking of bringing it up to the Defense Force. They might be able to fix me.
That won't be an option. Even if they don't dispose of you, they'll subject you to tests and experiments on a daily basis. Your career as a Defense Force officer will be over. Also, I've heard that nearly all the powerful code-named kaiju are used as parts for special weapons. Worst case, you might suffer the same fate.
And then, the soul leaves his face.
Kikoru, please! I beg of you, keep this a secret between us! Think of it as helping your elders!
Ah, too close! Fine. You saved me, so I'll keep this a secret for the time being. But know this. If it turns out you're just another kaiju out to harm humanity, then I will kill you.
And Kikoru gets a very serious face to the point where you can see the definition of the rings in her irises. And that's when Ichikawa, he senses just how serious Kikoru is. But Kafka just looks at her and smiles and goes, "Sure thing. If it comes to that, I'll accept nothing less." And then we get back to the present.
You'd best not disappoint me, Kafka Hibuno. Hibino?
Hibuno, not Hibuno.
Hibino.
And then Kafka's looking at her, and then his face starts puffing up like he's about to barf.
Huh?
Does he have motion sickness?
Vice Captain! Kafka's gonna hurl!
I'm sorry. I was nervous, so I overate.
Then when you're supposed to lose your...
That's when you're supposed to lose your appetite, not get hungry! Then we get to the Defense Force Temporary Base 304, Leon Mall Sagamihara Branch parking lot.
That thing is our target?
And it shows a giant kaiju that looks like it's made up of, let's say, alien mushrooms just piled on top of each other. Multiple eyes, and it's towering over the city. It is towering over the city. Like the buildings and the buildings that it's that it's next to, it's literally hovering over them.
That thing is our target?
400 hours. Commencing Sagamihara neutralization operation. Hoshino platoon.
Relaying operation now. Since emerging in the Kanawa fault, it seems our target has been on the move while maturing underground. Upon entering its breeding phase, it broke out onto the surface.
And then we got the Ikaruga platoon, which Ichikawa and Furuhashi are a part of.
Captain Ashido is leading a unit to dispose of the Honju, leaving us to contend with the countless numbers of Yoju being spawned. These are all the neutralization zones in the area.
Then we got the Nakanoshima platoon, which Aoi and the other guy whose hair slicked back, you know, the guy, he's there with a Nakanoshima platoon.
The Kaiju neutralization points designated here are devoid of any important facilities or main traffic routes. Your jobs? To dispose of the Yoju within the confines of these zones. This is a crucial task. Our success or failure here will determine the scale of damage and ultimately dictate the amount of time and money spent on rebuilding. Of course, the newbie platoons are being stationed at the tail end. But what that essentially means is, you all are our last line of defense. Any questions?
And no one says anything. I don't blame him. I do the same thing from sometimes when I get nervous. Really? Really?
Any questions?
And then Ichikawa isn't saying anything and goes, and Hoshino continues and goes,
all right. Your good marks on the training grounds won't mean squat when it comes time to save lives. So, my fledgling officers, get out on the battlefield and show your stuff.
And that is when everyone just starts cheering, going, yeah!
And on that note, good luck.
This is it, isn't it, sir?
And then this is Kafka speaking to Ichikawa, who's in a whole different area.
Yeah. At this pace, in
3 months, you'll be out the door.
If I don't prove myself here, I'm finished.
And Kikoru is looking at Kafka.
Tension. Panic. I'm under all sorts of pressure. So why am I so freaking amped up right now?
And that's when Ichikawa hears that, he just starts smiling. He's all like, yeah, there we go. And Kikoru is surprised to see just how much resolve he has.
That makes sense. This is the job you've always wanted, after all. Let's make sure our first mission is a success.
Yoju spotted entering Point E. Echo. Point Echo. All officers in position, engage and neutralize. They're here!
Let's hit it, Kikoru.
And he puts his mask on. And they all get started.
Who said you could order me around?
And while everyone jumps off the building, Kafka is the only one who has to really focus, because his suit doesn't give him the ability to just jump off normally.
Don't die out there, Ichikawa. Same to you, sir.
Here it comes, Kafka Hibino.
And then we get one of the Yoju that looks just like one of the smaller mushroom monsters, because it has like multiple legs, it has like a row full of teeth, and multiple eyes on a mushroom-shaped type head. And it's bearing down on them, and it's already destroying buildings. It's fairly large. Kaiju number 8, Episode 2, Sagamihara Neutralization Operation at Daybreak. And that's the end of Chapter 12. Onwards to Chapter 13. So one thing I'll say about these chapters is how I've been progressing through them. We are already from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're already through 5 chapters already. These volumes have a lot of chapters in them. But that's only because they have that extra point chapters as well. So they're basically just illustration chapters. Now, going forward, and I'm glad we're tackling it here in this one. If it's an illustration chapter, we're going to pass over it because it's nothing but a chapter of just drawings. Chapter 13.
All right, your debut mission's underway. Now get out there and blow the socks off of your senior officers. 3rd Division Vice Captain and Hoshina Platoon Captain, Soshiro Hoshina. Zone Echo.
It started. But it's odd. I feel eerily calm, not like back at the exams. I can tell this suit will give me what I need. Combat power unleashed!
Hoshina Platoon, Kafka Hibino. And as soon as he says combat power unleashed, he gets bowled over by a crowd of Yoju that just flip him in the air, and he goes sailing into some sandbags in the back.
Gah! You're too far out in front. Keep you and your 1% farther back.
For crying out loud, why the heck do we have to babysit the rookies? At least stand someplace out of the way and observe. And then someone is going, listen up! Mind you, Kikoru is among this group, and she's just glaring at him like, just shut up already. Listen up, we still don't know the enemy's weak points. Until we get intel from the front line, we need to carefully... And then all of a sudden, the Yoju that was in front of him gets obliterated. And then we see the flutter of Kikoru's pigtails as she's basically on a wall and she's sniping them from a wall. This volume ends at 17, right? Yes, it does. Because I'm not going to read the point chapters, like I said. So yeah, it does end at chapter 17. So we got basically 4 more chapters after this to go. But we're progressing through this rather quickly. We're doing good. But she completely obliterates this Yoju before this dude can say anything, and she just goes,
Roger that. I'll carefully hit every point that resembles a weak point, sir.
Hoshina Platoon, Kikoru Shinomiya. And she just brings this Yoju down instantly. What the heck? No way those shots came from someone in their 2nd month on the force. And then Kikoru finally, because mind you, she is up against the wall. Firing on this thing. And then she finally hits the ground, just lightly lands on the ground. And he just goes, so this is what Kikoru Shinomiya is made of.
Kikoru! Nice!
And then Kafka just gives her the thumbs up while he's buried under some rubble and sandbags. And then she kind of like her eyes look like they light up. But then she just goes like,
Of course! This is me after all.
Vitals abnormal, heart rate rapidly increasing.
I've got it done without that status update!
Okay, I see you, Kafka. You got the charisma. Okay, got her heart beating a little bit faster than normal. Her heart wasn't beating fast when she was shooting that Yoju, but it started beating fast as soon as you gave her a compliment.
Vitals abnormal, heart rate rapidly increasing. I got it done without that status update.
Zone Foxtrot, and it shows more Yoju just being obliterated.
Alright, we've taken out 2 of their legs. Now to finish it off by...
And then we cut to Ikaruga Platoon, Iharu Furuhashi. And he's already doing his part, just taking down some Yoju.
Furuhashi, good going! Alright, you see that, Reno?
And then it shows that Reno is standing in front, Ichikawa is standing in front of a Yoju that he pretty much brought down himself. Everyone else is firing on the same Yoju that Furuhashi was shooting, but behind them, Ichikawa has already brought down one on his own.
Wait, did you just take that down by yourself?
And he just looks and he just goes... Yes. Ikaruga Platoon Reno Ichikawa. And then Furuhashi is just looking completely dumbfounded how everyone was trying to take down one Yoju on one side, and the person he's already got a rivalry with has taken down a Yoju all on his own.
And then we see the magazine that Ichikawa has.
I tried swapping out my burst rounds for freeze rounds, which seemed to better suit my style. They allow me to fight while slowing the enemy's movements. Once I get the hang of them, I think I'll be even better at hunting kaiju.
And this sends like a little bit of a shiver down Furuhashi's spine because he's realizing this person has already got a handle on the situation and he's already looking at ways to optimize himself so that not only can he take down a kaiju by himself, but he can take down multiple once he gets better. That's the conclusion that Furuhashi is coming to.
This isn't good enough. I need to become stronger. I promise you, sir, I'll become so strong you won't have to transform.
Hey, what's the deal with these this year's rookies? Because it shows Aoi and the other guy. They're both basically just go Aoi and Izumo. Okay, we have Aoi and Izumo, and they're just gunning all these Yoju down. What's the deal with this year's rookies? Zone Juliet, platoon leader Nakanoshima. Platoon leader Nakanoshima. Who are these guys? Oh wait, platoon leader Nakanoshima. Who are these guys? We're losing self-confidence over here.
I was told that this was your lucky year for recruits, but I never guessed this lucky.
I've taken down 3 already. You need to pick up the pace, Haruichi.
Yeah. Don't forget I assisted on 2 of those kills, bud. Nakanoshima, platoon Aoi Kaguragi, and Nakanoshima platoon Haruichi Izumo.
One is wild and rugged, the other clean cut and cool. My, we're lucky indeed.
You mean their looks? Because the captain is kind of encapsulated by just how attractive they are. She's liking what she's seeing.
Plus all that adorable bickering makes me want to formally add them to my platoon.
And it literally has the subtitles next to her going, on the prowl. Stay away from this captain.
Vice Captain Noshina says there are several prominent candidates, but that's not all. They are being motivated by the top rookie who has a higher than normal unleashed combat power, which is boosting their levels overall.
And then we see Kafka as he's watching all this go down.
Kaiju kill reports are flooding in. Man, everyone's amazing. Ichikawa and Iharu too. This isn't good. Everyone's working hard and all I've done is weigh the others down. There's gotta be something I can do, right? Huh? Come to think of it, didn't he say,
we still don't know the enemy's weak spots? And then Kafka's looking at one of these kaiju, while everyone else is, on the alert with their guns ready. And then he slaps his face and goes,
I've got weapons of my own. This time, I use them. It's time I use them.
Next, what is he doing? And it shows Kafka as he starts getting into the body of one of these kaiju and he's looking around.
Ooh, nice. Even at 1%, this suit makes dismantling this thing a breeze. If they could mass produce these, maybe they could sell them to the cleanup industry too. Okay, typical fungal type kaiju structure, but the core isn't in this standard spot. Where is it? If it's not here, then maybe here? Huh? Wait, this is... Vice Captain Hoshina, I've located the core!
What?
It's at the base of the neck, sir! However, it's under the hard fiber muscles acting as their spine. The weaker officers might need to flank them.
Oh ho.
There's just one more thing, and it's major. The Yoju also have reproductive organs. It's a white bumpy organ around their rear end. Unless it's destroyed, there's a possibility that new Yoju might spawn from their corpses.
Kafka, I've got to hand it to you. Okonogi, dear, share that information with all personnel.
Yes, sir!
Oh, we got her name. Her name is Okonogi. That's such a nice name. Okonogi. I like that. Hi, Kyushu92. I'm from Korea. I really loved your Jujutsu Kaisen reading. My name is Shi Bak. Please forgive me if I mispronounced your name, but I'm glad you enjoyed my Jujutsu Kaisen readings. Oh, much love here for you from America. It's great to have different people from different countries tuning in to the stuff that I do. Happy to have you, and I hope you enjoy everything else that I do. But if you're just reading Jujutsu Kaisen, hey, I hope you enjoy that as well. I hope you enjoy that more as well. You already said that you were, but please forgive me. Hopefully, I said your name right. I pronounced it right. Please forgive me if I did not, though. That's right. Si Youngbak. Ah, awesome, cool. So I said it right. Awesome. I got it right on the first try. I'm glad, but I'm happy to have you, and I hope you enjoy everything else.
Kafka, I've got to hand it to you. Okonogi, dear, share that information with all personnel.
Yes, sir!
I know you picked up a lot from your last job too, but I'd say all that studying you did really paid off. Well done.
And then Kafka grips his fist.
I did it. I helped out the defense force. I'll continue to gut and neutralize all of the corpses on the road, sir. I'll do whatever I can. Until I can make it there by Mina's side.
And then there's a kablam sound effect in the distance.
What was that?
Looks like they're getting started. Take a good look. See that over there?
And we see someone standing on the rooftop, and it's Mina, and she's got a giant... Where did she get this Jaikou Koben from? What is it? Is it Jaikou or is it Jakou Koben? No, it's... Where did she get Soifon's Bankai from? Jakou Koben. She has a literal cannon holding it. It's 3 a.m. in Korea. I will go to sleep. All right, Seong. It was great having you here, but please get some rest, please. But she's holding this is a 10-foot long cannon, and she's just holding it. This is a tank barrel. This is a tank barrel you would see on an Abrams. She is using an M1 Abrams cannon turret as a regular handheld gun. That's a big gun. This is Mina, and she has like this little visor over her face as well.
3rd Division Captain Mina Ashiro.
Fire! And she pulls a trigger.
That's what the person you're aiming to stand beside is capable of.
As she basically takes this cannon, and you know that big giant Honju that we saw at the beginning that was towering over the buildings? She blows part of its head completely off with this cannon. What sort of shells are you using? If the explosion can dwarf many of these buildings. What is the ammunition that you're using? How stable is that roof? How has it not caved from the recoil from an explosion that big? That is an explosion you would get from your average cruise missile. And she's using a handheld cannon. She got the big gun. Man, Alucard was right.
That's the person you're aiming to stand beside That's what the person you're aiming to stand beside is capable of.
And Kafka is just watching as this Honju's head part of it gets obliterated. Kaiju number 8, background introduction, part 3. Let's see. Unisocket. A socket that houses kaiju organs with special attributes, i.e. uni-organs, or secretions from said organs. Swapping them out allows soldiers to use rounds that possess attributes collected from various kinds of kaiju. Literally different ammos that you would see in different video games, or in Ubisoft's case, different ammunition for one type of weapon, like different arrows or different bombs that you would see in your average Ubisoft Assassin's Creed video game. Swapping them out allows soldiers to use rounds that possess attributes collected from various kinds of kaiju. Examples: burst rounds, collected from kaiju that emerged August 4th in 1970, and freeze rounds, collected from a kaiju that emerged in February 19th, 1988. And that's the end of Chapter 13. Onwards to 14. We are almost done with Volume 2. Kaiju number 8, Chapter 14. And the cover page shows Mina standing back to back with Kafka, who is in his kaiju state. Honju has been wrangled into designated position. Commence concentrated fire on limbs. And they start firing on the limbs of this Honju.
Third round loaded.
Roger, commencing calculations.
Roger, commencing calculations. Prepare to fire.
And Mina is thinking back to the conversation that she and Kafka had all those years ago.
We'll just see which of us becomes the cooler officer.
Well, Kafka, here's what I'm like now. Unleash combat power, 96%.
And using that power, she resists the recoil of this. That explains why she was able to resist the recoil of it. Because she's using 96% of her own suit's power, which vastly is superior to Kikoru's 55%. And the shot goes flying, everyone sees it, and we see the round go from the roof directly into the side of this creature, shocking Kikoru, Ichikawa, and Kafka.
Hanju's vitals are fading. It's collapsing.
Fourth round loaded.
Roger, prepare to fire. Hanju annihilated.
And she fires again.
Hanju annihilated. Vitals are completely...
Fifth round loaded.
But ma'am, the kaiju has already been passive...
Give me the order.
Yes, ma'am.
She is she's not doing this just to make sure that not just to make sure that the Honju is dead, but just to show Kafka that this is how strong she is. She's doing this on purpose because she knows that Kafka's out there watching. She's doing this as a way to say, like, this is what I can do. I need you to match me here. She doesn't need to bring down the kaiju anymore. She doesn't need to shoot it anymore. But she's doing it because she knows Kafka is watching. She's flexing. This is the equivalent of like,
Stop, it's already dead.
But ma'am, the kaiju has already been passive...
Give me the order.
Yes, ma'am.
And she shoots the kaiju again.
Dang, this is nothing like what I've seen on TV or through binoculars. She really is out of this world.
And mind you, this doesn't dampen Kafka's spirits. He's like pumped up by it.
Well, feel like giving up now?
Ugh.
Standing by her side means being her equal in strength.
Because Hoshina has found Kafka and is, he's not willing to give up his seat for Kafka, and Kafka wants to get where she is, where Mina is.
So you're telling me that you're capable of that, Vice Captain Hoshina?
Nope.
What do you mean, nope?
My unleashed combat power for marksman weaponry is pretty low, so I can't hold a candle to Captain Ashido when it comes to giant-class threats.
And it shows a Yoju bearing down right behind Hoshina. And he just says, but, and then all of a sudden, we just see cut lines around the body of this Yoju. All of a sudden. And the thing is, we see Hoshina putting swords back in behind his back. We didn't see no cut happen. We just saw the Yoju running up behind him, then it's stopping, and him sheathing his swords again, and we see cut lines going across all over this Yoju.
My unleashed combat power for marksman weaponry is pretty low, so I can't hold a candle to Captain Ashido when it comes to giant-class threats. But when it comes to miniature and mid-sized threats, I'd say the odds are in my favor.
And as soon as he says this, the Yoju splits open, filleted in the exact way that Hoshina basically cut it. He basically did the same thing that Bradley did to show off to Ed how skillful he was in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, just by slicing off his spear without Ed even noticing that he took his sword out, basically.
But when it comes to miniature and mid-sized threats, I'd say the odds are in my favor.
His blades. I was so fast, I didn't even see them move.
Neither did the rest of us.
I come from a long line of kaiju slayers dating back to the Muromachi period. So, you see, I'm better with a blade. Captains and vice captains have the greatest combat powers, so we're equipped with special gear tailored to suit our individual talents.
Hoshina, I'm done here. Hoshina. Oh wait, this is Mina.
Hoshina, I'm done here with the Honju. All right, chat's over. The main event's about to start.
Huh? But Mina just said she beat the Honju, so...
Don't call her Mina, dope. Didn't I tell you earlier? Our real problem is the countless number of Yoju being spawned. Sure, we took down the Honju, but all those Yoju left in its corpse. Just as I thought. Here we go. Are going to come pouring out in droves.
And we get a whole bunch of Yoju that are basically inside of this Honju's body. Seeing as how it was towering over the buildings, there has to be hundreds of them inside.
Alrighty, folks, we're in the home stretch. Take care of the riffraff, and we can all go home to a hearty breakfast.
Take care of the riffraff?
That's easier said than done.
Tired already, newbies? Guess you all still need to build up your stamina. All right, everyone, let's show that,
Who is saying this? No, that is not Kafka.
Guess you all need to still build up your stamina. All right, everyone, let's show the newbies that unleashed combat power ain't the only thing to a fight. And then we get Captain Nakanoshima as she walks up and she goes,
Hey, you two.
Platoon Leader Nakanoshima.
How about you sit back and leave the rest to your senior officers? What do you say?
And they both give each other the eye and they go like, that's clearly not an option. And then we have Okonogi.
I suspect the rookies must be getting tired.
Well, they are neutralizing an awful lot for their first mission. But if they can get through this, I have no doubt that it'll elevate them to the next level. Most officers will close out their careers with their unleashed combat power topping out at 20 or 30%. A handful of them will scale that wall and reach captain rank. The only one to scale that wall so far among this year's rookies is Kikoru Shinomiya, but there actually may be one more who can do it. Reno Ichikawa is showing all the signs.
And then we get Furuhashi along with Ichikawa.
Dang it. I trained hard in college for 5 whole years, so why can't I keep up with this guy?
Yoju entering Zone B.
They're here. Let's get back to the front line and...
Oh, man.
And it's the Honju, it's the kaiju that can make itself look human. I recognize the back of its head. It's right here over one of the corpses of a Yoju right now.
Oh, man. This one, too. The reproductive organs I loaded it with got destroyed. How'd they find out about it? Maybe there's some kaiju-savvy person on the force.
What the?
Would you happen to know?
And we finally get the look of this kaiju's face, and we still see its face kind of bubbling off to the side as it turns, because Ichikawa and Furuhashi are looking at it with its back turned, and it's just suddenly there. But it looks back at Ichikawa, and Ichikawa is all like,
wait, what's a cleanup worker doing here of all places?
And that's the end of chapter 14. And this is just more illustrations. Onwards to chapter 15. We're almost done. And then we get the cleanup crew as they're watching from a distance. The real cleanup crew in chapter 15 are watching from a distance, but the other guy isn't there.
Holy moly, that Hanju's huge! Kafka and Ichikawa there? Come on, ain't no way I can see them from here.
Guess that explains why they called in every cleaner in the Tokyo Kanagawa area.
Hey, you guys. Have you seen the newbie?
What? Don't tell me he's holed up in the John again! Then we get back to the worker, as Ichikawa is looking at him messing with the corpse of the Yoju.
But wait, what is a cleanup worker doing here of all places?
Aw, man. This sucks. I planned on outwitting them with a Yoju variant that would split off from itself. Should I revive them again? Nah, I can only bring back so many, and it really wears me out.
What is he talking about? Something's off about this guy.
Hey, buddy. And then the kaiju, shaped like a human, stands up, and its eyes are wide, the same way the eyes of the giant cockroaches, the humanoid cockroaches from Terraformers, the eyes wide open like that, just staring. It just stands up and looks at Furuhashi, who's going like, hey, buddy, this place ain't safe, so just stand by till you're instructed. Then this kaiju-looking human, this human-looking kaiju points his finger.
Huh?
And then its finger bulges and gets malformed as Ichikawa screams out, "Look out, Iharu!" And all of a sudden, the same exact way that Kikoru got her body perforated and shot through earlier on in Volume 1, the same thing happens to Iharu.
Oh man, I miss the heart. My accuracy really takes a hit in this form.
And Iharu starts bleeding and he screams out in pain.
Ah! Iharu! It won't stop bleeding. Dang it!
Just calm down and use your suit's function to bind the wound.
The heck is this? The heck is he?
A kaiju. If there are other humanoid kaiju aside from Kafka.
And then this kaiju decides, you know what? I'm done with this facade. And its body starts malforming, its neck expands and bulges all over the place, and it turns back into the same kaiju we saw back at the training site.
Ah! It's the humanoid type from back at the testing grounds.
Wait, for real? This is the thing that took out Shinomiya?
Most likely.
Ah, man. I'd hate to leave here empty-handed. I should at least take an officer back with me as a living sample, don't you think?
And that's when shivers go down both Iharu and Ichikawa's spine. Platoon leader Ikaruga, we've encountered a humanoid kaiju, requesting backup immediately. And then all of a sudden, he can't signal anyone because the connection has been cut off.
Right. Radio communication, yes. Already got that covered. This section is already within an undetectable pocket of space. For a trick designed to keep me hidden in the human world, it works surprisingly well for hunting them, don't you think?
And then the kaiju's finger expands again.
It's coming.
As Ichikawa manages to move out of the way enough for it to only really hit him in his side. Not too deeply, but just kind of hit him on the outer side of his side.
Reno!
Then all of a sudden, when he tries to dodge again, Ichikawa's leg gets a chunk of his leg actually gets blown off. Not the whole leg, but just like a sizable chunk of his leg immediately gets blown through. Not only that, but he also destroys his secondary gun. I wouldn't say, is that a secondary gun? No, he also destroys a bit of his recovery pouch as well. One of the pouches he has on his leg, he just completely blows through it.
Huh? Odd. My aim seems slightly off.
This pain is unreal. He's breaking through the suit's shield like it's nothing. But...
Wait. Hey, you. You can see my shots, can't you?
And this is when Iharu realizes and Ichikawa realizes.
Oh, right. I'll fill you in just in case you run into that thing in the wild. At first, I thought it was using some sort of magic or witchcraft, but if you look closely at its fingertip, you'll see it certainly has a certain tell before attacking.
So it shows that Kikoru managed to notice that this kaiju literally gives away when it's about to shoot from its flex. And we see this kaiju's finger inflate, and then it gets flat. It inflates and enlarges itself, then it gets pressed in and flat.
Gotta look closer. If I can get a grasp on the timing of his shots, I can dodge them!
And he proceeds to just dodge this kaiju's finger shots. This thing is using Rokushiki from One Piece. It's using Shigan, literally using finger pistol. And Kafka and Ichikawa dodges it.
He dodged the dang thing!
Just like I figured.
And then there's a ping sound as it shows that Kafka I keep getting them confused with Ichikawa. Ichikawa manages to land a shot on this kaiju's arm.
Iharu, fall back and send reinforcements.
Say what? Why do I have to be the one getting saved by you?
And as soon as he says this, Ichikawa jumps in and tackles him before he gets killed. In the process, though, a chunk of his shoulder plating gets shot off in the process. Had Ichikawa not jumped in and saved him, Iharu would be dead right now. And that kaiju is still there.
Oh, God, freaking hurts!
Iharu, you have to go. Please. Doesn't get any scarier than this. This thing took down Shinomiya of all people. I don't stand a chance.
Oh wait, this is Iharu going.
Doesn't get any scarier than this. This thing took down Shinomiya of all people. I don't stand a chance against it.
And Iharu immediately starts to take off while Ichikawa stays behind.
But the kind of officer I strive to be.
Oh wait, no. This is Ichikawa who's saying this.
Doesn't get any scarier than this. This thing took down Shinomiya of all people. I don't stand a chance against it. But the kind of officer I strive to be.
Run for it, Ichikawa! Get out of here as fast as you can! Once you're out of harm's way, send out an alert! And this is back when Kafka stayed behind in order to save him from the Honju that led to his leg getting crushed, which led to him becoming a kaiju.
But the kind of officer I strive to be is one who can lay his life on the line to protect one of his own at a time like this.
And Ichikawa puts his mask on, and that concludes Chapter 15. Onwards to Chapter 16. Chapter 16, Kaiju number 8.
This thing took down Shinomiya. I don't stand a chance against it. But I can at least buy Iharu some time to escape.
And Ichikawa starts firing at this kaiju, and the kaiju itself starts dodging his shots. And while he's firing back at Ichikawa, Ichikawa is dodging its shots.
He's clearly not the same Reno I knew before. What the heck? How can he hold his own against that thing?
And then there's an explosion that happens directly in front of Iharu. And he tries to run, but he doesn't. He tries to run, but it seems like a shot lands right where he is to keep him from running.
Dang it. Dang it! I can't stand it! This really pisses me off.
And then it cuts back to when Hoshino was speaking to all of the cadets before this started.
There's a wall you hit with unreleased. What is unreleased? There's a wall you hit with unleashed combat powers, roughly around 20 to 30%. It's a wall only a few can scale.
And that's when Iharu he stops frustrating over it and just thinks to himself,
It's been almost 2 weeks and I still haven't broken past 20%. Ever since that day, I've dedicated my life to getting stronger. And despite all that friggin' guy surpassed me like it's nothing! This really pisses me off!
and he screams this as he keeps running so that Ichikawa continues to face off against this kaiju. But while he's firing, the kaiju is while he's firing using a car as like a stand for him to steady his gun, the kaiju is right there in front of him, just right next to him, just like how Yoruichi showed up and landed on Byakuya's arm all of a sudden in Bleach. He's just right there, like crouched next to him on top of the car going,
"Hey, you. You've been acting like you know all about me, but..."
And then this kaiju's back starts bubbling.
"I bet you didn't know about this, ha!"
As it shows that he can create multiple fingers out of multiple arms. He can create multiple arms that can all have fingers ready to shoot him point blank.
"I bet you didn't know about this, ha!"
And when it looks like his whole body is about to be basically turned into mush, Iharu comes out of nowhere and tackles Ichikawa out of the way. And Iharu is bleeding because he's been hit. They skid to the ground as the kaiju goes, But Iharu is hit because his whole midsection is just bleeding out.
Iharu? Why?
No, Reno's not the one I'm pissed at. I'm pissed at the guy who's got no better since then. Pissed at the guy who's always getting saved. Listen up, Reno. You ain't the one saving me. I'm the one saving you, idiot!
And Iharu kind of drops to the ground because he's really, really hurt right now. Iharu!
I don't get it.
Why? Why did you come back when...
Can it? I sent up a flash round.
You know that's not the issue here.
Ah, that was your idea, huh? Not going to work. Nothing living or otherwise can get out without my permission.
No way.
In that case, we just gotta man up. The two of us are taking this thing down, Reno. And that being said, I'm worse for wear. I'll back you up and make an opening.
Because Ichikawa was all like, huh?
That being said, I'm worse for wear. I'll back you up and make an opening. Then you blast it with a shot at full force.
And then Ichikawa just goes, affirmative.
Let's go, Reno!
And then we get Ichikawa running forward while Iharu provides cover with his sidearm, which the kaiju immediately dodges. But that round from Iharu turned out to be one that shoots out electricity.
A conductor round?
Don't think you're the only one testing out different rounds.
And while this kaiju has dodged out of the way, he allows its other arm to basically bend all the way behind him, Like it goes all the way behind his back and bends in the opposite direction so it can fire at Iharu.
This makes it hard to move. I guess I'll stop the one over there first.
As he fires at Iharu.
Gotta watch closely. I've taken enough shots already to have a grasp on the timing.
And Iharu dodges out of the way of the finger shot.
Him too, huh?
And then this kaiju gets hit in its legs.
Now, Reno! Now, Reno!
Unleash maximum combat power. Please, God, just for right now, just for this 1 second, I'm begging you. I need to be stronger than Shinomiya, than even Captain Ashido for this 1 second. Please give me the strength!
As he opens fire on this kaiju. And the whole area just gets lit up with shots. This kaiju gets completely engulfed in these explosions. And both Reno and Iharu are looking. And there's a wall of Yoju bodies where that kaiju was.
A wall of corpses?
Aha! Judging from that look on your face, I take it you're flat out of options now. Ha!
As it shows this kaiju opening up the wall of corpses with its fingers at the ready in front of Ichikawa, preparing to shoot him point blank.
Reno!
As we see shots go straight through all over Kafka's body. All over.
Vice Captain Hoshina!
Vice Captain Hoshina, this is platoon leader Ikaruga.
Yeah, what's the matter?
We've lost communication with both Ichikawa and Furuhashi, sir.
Say what now?
They're comlinks. They're vitals. We can't track any of it. And Kafka hears this, but he also notices the bodies twitching from the corpses of these Yoju twitching all of a sudden.
What the? I just saw a corpse move for a second.
Kafka Hibino!
Kikoru, does this behavior mean?
Yes, that thing is here.
Ichikawa! Iharu!
And that's when Kafka realizes, oh no, this thing that Kikoru can tell is here? Yeah, this might be the reason why they can't get in contact with Iharu and Ichikawa. And that's the end of chapter 16. Onwards to chapter 17. Let's see where this chapter ends. Kaiju number 8, chapter 17. Ravi, it's good to see you. I hope life has been treating you well. We are on the last chapter of volume 2 of Kaiju number 8, and then I'll call it a session for today. Chapter 17. And we have Iharu screaming out,
Reno!
As Ichikawa got shot all over his body due to this kaiju.
My body feels like it's on fire. I need to bind my wounds and stand back up. I'm still alive. The fight isn't over.
And as he's struggling to move, the kaiju notices.
You're still moving. It's surprisingly difficult, killing off a human's motor functions without actually killing them, that is.
I don't think so, jerk!
As Iharu opens fire on this kaiju. Of which the kaiju just casually blocks and deflects all of these gunshots. It's fast enough to deflect bullets.
I've already seen that trick.
And then points its finger at Iharu and then shoots him down too.
Now then, guess I should wrap this up.
As he walks over to Ichikawa and shoots him directly in the back.
Not a strong enough shot.
And then it cuts to this kaiju as it continues to shoot Ichikawa in the back. And then Iharu is going,
Dang it! Dang it!
Still moving, huh? How about this then?
And it's just shooting Ichikawa in the back.
Dang it! Dang it! My friend's getting hurt right in front of me, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. It sucks, and I hate to admit it. My Reno is so freaking amazing. He's gonna make captain someday for sure. You're out of your mind if you think I'm letting it end here!
And when Iharu tries to shoot this kaiju, it shows that the gun has been damaged where he can't even fire it. There's a hole going through the gun. And then the kaiju spins its head around and looks at Iharu.
I've almost got this one down to size. I don't need you anymore.
And when Iharu drops to his knees, he goes,
Please, God. It can be a demon or even the devil himself for all I care. Just please, save Reno. Please save my friend.
You can die now.
And as Iharu closes his eyes,
Ow!
Oh, this is such a beautiful panel! This is such a beautiful panel! Because as Iharu is preparing to die, the next page we get is Kafka in his kaiju form, already crackling with energy and looking absolutely livid. He's standing behind this multi-headed, this multi-plated kaiju, and he's going,
The only one dying here is you, dirtbag. What?
And before this kaiju can spin his head around, Kafka plants his fist directly in its face and sends it flying.
What just happened? I can see my own body. Guess my head got knocked off, huh?
And then Kafka walks up to Ichikawa and goes,
Hey, sorry it took me so long. Crap. I'm so weak. I thought I could prevent it from coming to this. But in the end, I forced him to transform yet again.
and it shows Kafka picking up Ichikawa. Because, you know, he's losing consciousness, losing blood, and he can't do it on his own.
Another humanoid kaiju?
So, you're the one, huh? You're Kaiju number 8.
And then Kafka looks back at this kaiju, and that ends not only today's chapter 17, but also ends the volume reading for today. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very good volume. This was a very good volume, especially this whole Honju fight and seeing the strength that what is crazy is the fact that we start off this volume with Kafka displaying just how much strength he has, being able to not only blow the very flesh off the bones of a Honju, but also cause its entire body to follow suit. And even its body's organs trying to, move and twitch again is not enough because Kafka and his kaiju power is just that strong. So we get rivalries between everyone, and even someone like Iharu, who's just very, very standoffish and, like someone that you probably wouldn't want to be friends with, he sees Ichikawa as his friend. And now we're here, even though, and we've learned so much in this volume, seeing how Hoshina sees that Ichikawa is the next person that can look like he can get over the wall of power that one can obtain with their suits. which is something that you would see from a captain level individual. He sees Ishikawa along with Kikoru as high prospects who can cross over that wall. So for Ichikawa to feel like he still hasn't reached that level, especially after facing off against this kaiju, and doing all that he can to be strong so that Kafka doesn't have to, he literally just says, I'm going to become strong enough so you don't have to transform anymore. And yet here we are, where Kafka is just showing that it's probably a good thing that Kafka can transform, because this same kaiju that showed up and caused the whole thing at the end of Volume 1, it's now back, posing as a member of the cleanup crew. It's the reason why this Honju is attacking the city in the first place, showing that it is incredibly powerful, incredibly fast, literally can shoot people just by pointing its finger at them, showing that it's stronger than what Ichikawa and Iharu are capable of facing off against. Now, Kafka has showed up and manages to land a solid hit, the first sign of damage to this creature, by literally knocking its head off. And mind you, given the state of Ichikawa, Kafka is not going to spare this thing. Oh, he's going to body this thing, especially if it's getting back up to cause problems. No, he is going to body this thing. I can't wait for next Monday's reading for Kaiju number 8. I'm so excited. Love the development of all the characters. Oh, not only that, but you also see Kikoru. She was very, high sedity and bougie at the beginning, but you can kind of see some signs that she's got, she's leaning in the direction where she's looking at Kafka as not some, like, old dude, but she's kind of looking at him like, maybe. But she doesn't want to vocally say that. Even her suit told on her when Kafka was giving her the thumbs up. Her heart was all aflutter as soon as he did that to her, and as soon as all like, your heart rate is up. Heart rate is up higher than normal. It's so casual about it too. Like I looks like I got my head knocked off. Yeah, it has Kizaru vibes. You know how nonchalant Kizaru is in One Piece. It has Kizaru vibes. So, yeah. Overall, I really did like this volume, and I'm looking forward to next week's volume. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a wonderful reading, and we managed to get this whole thing read out in less than 2 hours. As I said before, going forward, if we have illustration chapters that hop up, I won't be going over them because they're just illustrations, and we'll just move on to the story so that way it can be, current with each one. But this was a very good volume, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you, everyone from Seong. What is it? Hold on, let me say his name again. From Korea. Seong-bak from Korea. Great having you here. They're probably asleep right now. It was great having you here. Love having people from different countries all over tuning in. Halster, it was good to have you here. Ravi, it was good to have you here as well. Anyone who's watching this stream, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later on when it's already become a VOD, I just want to say, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples.